What's up, squad? Back with another video. Y'all see the title's going down. Make sure y'all hit the like button, hit that subscribe button for me, please. Y'all see it in the title down below. One thing about it, I'm actually, glad that I'm, going to be able to drop this video for y'all. Hopefully I can. This really ain't even gonna lie. This whole Super Bowl, and y'all know how I feel about it, but this whole thing when it comes to the Super Bowl halftime show. What they're telling people to do, is completely insane to me. I want to show y'all, this clip, of how these ladies really feel and why, we're in a position that we're in now because of the things that they say and, how people react. Check it out what Whoopi Goldberg says in this video.
Anyway, she's threatening to go to the Super Bowl when Bad Bunny is there and round up all these people that are illegal immigrants. Do you think that she would go if it was Garth Brooks or Eminem or Taylor Swift or any other white person?
Let me understand what you're saying, because she's going to go to the Super Bowl and round up. How's she going to know who's who?
Because the Supreme Court has given permission to question anyone who has a Spanish accent or has a dark skin.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. Everybody get a little cocoa butter, sit in the sun. That's the first thing. and this is the only time you can probably ever do this. Give yourself a Latin accent.
Whoopi, that is such
that right there. I'm not gonna lie. Let me tell y'all something about this, and maybe this is more so of something that maybe I'm over exaggerating with. I don't know how some people feel, but me personally, how I feel about it is you don't really do stuff like that. You don't say stuff like that because these are things right here that will literally get somebody hurt. This will get somebody hurt by saying stuff like this, and that's what people don't. This is what people fail to realize. Saying things like this, to put cocoa butter on your face and this black face or whatever she's trying to go for, and go to the Super Bowl with a Latin accent. This is what I'm talking about of, this violence, because as soon as people do that, and then what's to say they are getting questioned, these are things that they want. They want you to do things, obviously, that they're not going to do. They say do this, they say do that, they say to react like this and do this, do that. What people fail to realize, all these ladies that's sitting here in these chairs, and I'm not saying that this is the right thing to do, but I'm speaking toward more so to the people that are constantly going to these protests, rioting, and going here and going there. These ladies right here, they're not doing none of that. They sit on this show. They're millionaires. Their spouses, millionaires. They live in these gated community homes, got drivers, got security, don't have to worry about nothing. They got money. They're not about to get in the streets and do this. Y'all, I mean, come on now. And I can speak about a whole bunch of other, the people that, is so-called, want to be there for the people, that's on the left. These ladies don't care about you and what you got going on. They're literally telling you to go somewhere, put on this face, cocoa butter, go sit in the sun, get dark, and have a Latin accent just for you to go get hurt. And I'm not saying it's mainly if ICE is going to be there, they're automatically going. These are things right here that if they were to do this, regardless, that's just like if you were to go somewhere and that this is gang territory and they go tell you to go dress like this Venezuelan gang or go dress like this gang and go here and see how they treat you. That's basically what they're telling you to do. How do you think that these agents are they're going to look at, you different. They're going to, and that the truth hurts to a lot of people. My thing is, why want to get a bigger reaction? Why want to cause so much drama, so much, negativity and just destruction and chaos when it comes to people going somewhere, people doing so. They're literally telling people basically to just go out there and have everything messed up. Go ahead and cause this and do it. They love that. They love that violence. They love that violence. One thing about it with these ladies, I can't stand. And like I said, I'm not saying that, these ICE agents, they're just all just, you have this violent, when it comes, y'all know what the mission is what I'm saying. People know what the mission is, so why go aggravate the mission? Like, I'm confused on that. I truly am.
Good idea.
And see if she can tell who's who.
Who do you think are buying Super Bowl tickets? I can't afford a Super Bowl ticket.
During the Nazi occupation, there was one country, I believe it was Denmark or Norway, one of those, where everybody put the Jewish star on.
Yeah.
And they didn't know who was Jewish and who was not. So what you're saying is very smart.
Well, I love how the comedy was what started President Trump's run. If you guys remember at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, it was a joke that he couldn't quite take. And he
tripping down the stairs.
No, not that one. But and here we are. But when we talk about how much comedy gets under the president's skin, it just makes me laugh a little bit because sometimes you read the paper these days and it's like they're writing The Onion, like how it's
and then
the
it's
headlines.
real.
No, it's like really real. It's like you laugh and then you realize it's not funny and all of the things. But it's because like Trump wants to host a UFC fight for his 80th birthday. That literally sounds like he's writing an SNL sketch. Like, that's actually true, you guys.
It is true?
Yes.
At the White House.
He wants to do, like, my dad had an 80th birthday.
Is he participating in it?
I don't know, but, like, who for your 80th
How
birthday?
many more years is that? 2 more? He'll be gone.
No, I think it's next year.
See what I mean? There it is. I'm gonna tell y'all one thing for sure. Y'all know I said that I'm a real big sports fan. I think that it is amazing. I truly feel like, and I'm gonna tell y'all why I feel like this is amazing. Y'all cannot. I have so many people that love, me and like talk to me and like support me, and they're, and those same people can disagree on what I gotta say. They might not feel the same way what I got. So I'm gonna tell y'all how I feel about this. This UFC, at the White House. I think it's amazing. Y'all want me to tell y'all why I think it's amazing? I think it's amazing because this is something that nobody has done before. I feel like so many people are threatened by things that President Trump is doing that no other president has done before. No other person has really done before. So I feel like when you have something like that, I feel like it's amazing. Let me tell y'all something. If Barack Obama did this thing and had, UFC or some type of boxing event, at the White House, they wouldn't be talking about it. They'd be hyping it up. But since it's President Trump, they have something to say. Me personally, I like it. I love it, in fact. I love UFC. I love UFC. And I feel like having it at the White House, I feel like that is something that, and I find it funny. I find it really funny how they sitting there and hyping this Bad Bunny at the halftime show in the NFL. We love the NFL for doing this, that, and the other. But now all of a sudden, when President Trump have talked about this way before they talked about Bad Bunny, they're ready to bring this UFC thing up. Come on now, bro. We've been talking about this UFC thing. This was months ago, so we already knew about this. This is next year, obviously, and I feel like it's me personally. I feel like, and again, y'all don't have to agree with me. I don't know how y'all feel about UFC, anything like that. I feel like it's fire. Me personally, I feel like it's fire. This is something that I know is gonna be amazing. I know it's gonna be performances maybe, and it just show you that just American, like, you know what I mean? Like it gives me that when I seen the octagon and I seen it, just looks so amazing to me, y'all. So me personally, I support it. But listen what Joy has to say. I got something else to say about this, but this is exactly what I'm talking about.
UFC fight for his 80th birthday? That literally sounds like he's writing an SNL sketch. Like, that's actually true, you guys.
It is true?
Yes.
At the White House.
He wants to do, like, my dad had an 80th birthday.
Is he participating in it?
I don't know, but, like, who for your 80th birthday?
How many more years is that? 2 more? He'll be gone.
No, I think it's next
See what I mean?
He'll be impeached. He's going to resign. Something.
See what I mean? And she looks over. I know for a fact she looks at Brian.
He'll be impeached. He's going to.
She looks at, check it out what she said.
Participating in it?
I don't know, but, like, who for your 80th birthday?
How many more years is that? 2 more? He'll be gone.
No, I think it's next year.
He'll be
And she goes and say he'll be impeached or he'll be this, he'll be that. We all know what Joy meant by that. And I find it crazy because ain't Joy older than President Trump? How old is Joy Behar? She's 83. How old is President Trump? And he's 79. So her trying to be funny, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Her saying, "Oh, he's going to be 80 and you 83." Like make that make sense. And I'm not saying, "Oh, yeah, it's you know, oh, just because she's 83 means she's," but it's just some fact of what she's saying and how she's saying it. Then she like, "Oh, yeah, he's going to be impeached." Like, come on with that, bro. This is exactly why. And I'm again, this is not so much of an excuse. It's really honestly facts. This is exactly why people do what they do. You know, when it comes to violence, when it comes to these churches, when it comes to these ICE facilities, when it comes, you know, to these events that people's having, because people are literally listening to people like Joy Behar, Whoopi, Sunny Hostin, and others that's constantly inciting violence and causing this negativity. I'm telling you.
He's going to resign.
But like, it's kind of like when you have the Teslas on the front lawn at the White House. You see the news headline, and you're like, wait a second. Like, he's actually funny, and he doesn't.
He doesn't even
how
know
funny he is.
You know, I have to.
Kind of like when you have the Teslas on the front lawn at the White House. You see the news headline, and you're like, wait a second. Like, he's actually funny, and he doesn't.
What is that noise? Y'all hear that? That somebody said something.
He doesn't even know
how funny he is.
You know, I have to tell you, after these past 6 months, and I think I'm not alone in this. I have sort of been using humor as a coping mechanism. I'm watching more and more comedies than I ever have. I'm watching stand-up comedy, and it's sort of, as you've often said, both you and Whoopi, that humor is sort of like the last frontier. It's just the last frontier, and those are the people that are standing up for us. And you know, we need to protect the right not only to make jokes, but the right for us to laugh. The Supreme Court was very clear, right? The right for us to be able to laugh at things. I was looking at the law about this, and in 1988, the Supreme Court in particular said that parodies of public figures, even those intending to cause emotional distress, are protected by the First and 14th Amendments to the U.S. Constitution.
Remember, Putin
even the
fired
Supreme Court.
He fired the guy who made fun of him immediately, Putin. That's what they do.
I was going to say, I don't know if he's real.
Go ahead. Well, I was going to say, Bad Bunny makes me want to download Rosetta Stone and learn Spanish.
Yes,
I have 4 months to. But I also
That ain't
think
it.
Bad Bunny managed to,
That's not
in
it.
Spanish, make a more compelling counter message than the Democrats have been able to in English. And I don't mean that as a dig, but listen, sometimes don't look to politicians as your heroes or saviors when you don't like something that's happening in the country. Pop culture and culture has always been ahead of where political movements go. They say politics is downstream from culture. So as much as right now, like, we forget the government's even shut down right now. Like, if you're not somebody who's waiting on a paycheck, it's so unfair that so many people are in that position. You need to be looking at people who are energizing people and who are giving a positive message, not just the resistance one. And he did it beautifully.
Yes, he certainly did. And with that in mind, I want to draw your attention to something that happened in Chicago.
Oh.
Where they went into one of the buildings in the projects, went through every apartment.
Didn't they repel from helicopters?
They may have.
Yeah.
They brought out all the people. They said they were looking for gang members. No one can tell me if they were able to find anybody. But they put old people, sat them on the ground.
Bro, if you're literally going in and doing these things, this is literally protocol. Not only for the safety of officers, but the safety of others. So when it comes down to people having to go in, serving warrants, going in, you know, searching the area, this, that, and the other, regardless of whoever you are, even if you're not detained, you're going to be sat on the ground. Depending on the situation, maybe a couch if you're going in the house, you're going in the building. So you will be sat outside, and if somebody have any anything really going on with them, they're not, they get on this platform and they lie. They get on this platform and they lie. We all know what it is.
They took little kids, put their hands in plastic zip ties.
That is a lie. And I'm going to show y'all another clip. I'm going to actually show y'all somebody who actually knows exactly what happened and how things are.
This is not America.
Or how things were when it happened.
Okay. We are now facing, and thank God for the law, man. I just want to say, these judges, I know it must be scary for them.
Yeah.
Because they're coming up against a big old wall of poo.
And they're getting a lot of threats.
They're getting a lot of threats, but I will tell you something. The people appreciate what's happening because even judges who were appointed by you-know-who are saying this is not American.
Yeah.
This is not what we want to see. And I have to say, I tip my hat to all those judges. I tip my hat to those governors who are standing up, and it's scary for them too. And I beg every governor who recognizes this for what it is, get up and say, not in our state.
Right.
Not in our state.
Well, that's too damn bad. Because y'all may tell y'all why it's bad. It's a simple fact that it needs to be fixed. And it's getting fixed. President Trump is making sure of that. I'm telling y'all right now. When it comes to these governors that's constantly like, oh yeah, we don't want this, we don't want the National Guard here. We don't want this. Trust and believe, they just want worse, for the city that they're in. You literally got Brandon Johnson. Stay tuned for the next video. Insane. But you literally have these different, mayors, these different you got Prisker, with Brandon Johnson. You literally have these different individuals that are constantly wanting worse for, their state, and the city that, obviously that Trump is trying to help out with. And I'm speaking more so Chicago, since they're talking about the Chicago building and stuff like that. It's absolutely sad. It's absolutely sickening that they can get on this platform and say things like this. That these governors, that these mayors, that they need to stand up, and say not in our city, not in our man. Let me tell y'all something. What the View got. I still don't know how today they're not even canceled by saying the stuff that they be saying. Like I do not understand. I truly don't. This right here says right here. Chicagoans are going off on influencers who lie about what happened with the apartment building in Chicago. Says the American people want safe cities. Check out what this lady has to say, y'all.
All right, y'all. At this point, y'all have really pissed me off, especially you so-called influencers who are taking parts of stories coming out of Chicago and using it for clickbait and engagement. Mm-hmm. Now, I have been urging my people here to pause so that they can process things. Y'all talking about them coming down on that building out south. Whole time, that building used to be predominantly black. That building was predominantly Venezuelans, okay?
Exactly.
There are people from that neighborhood that have been complaining about that building for a year, okay? They showed y'all broken windows and shit were already there. These are the things that y'all have to stop doing. And this is why I keep telling people here in the city, particularly black people, pause so you can process. If y'all start responding to of emotion, then you don't know what the play is, because you haven't had time to actually think. What people are doing are trying to get a rise out of black Chicagoans, okay? That was one incident. Then you had the guy out west that had the accident, and they pulled him out, and one of the agents was choking him, and people were recording it, okay? So again, follow-ups to all of these things, never. Nobody ever comes back with the follow-up. They talking about, oh, they're arresting black people in Chicago. All of the black people that they took from that building on the south side were released.
Got let go.
The 37 people that they detained were all Venezuelans who were part of a particular gang. Y'all got to stop doing this. Y'all are really making me mad with this, okay? Especially for those people who don't live here, but you want to use these stories as a way to get some engagement. Slow pause, bro. I'd hate to get into it with some of y'all because I've seen.
And the simple fact that people are literally doing this, and it's people that obviously don't live there, people that's just speaking out, and not even knowing what's going on. Those same people that's in that building are probably very, very happy that those Venezuelans, and those gangs are out of their building.
Some of y'all so-called influencers using this as a way for y'all to get attention and likes. Yes, this is a very serious issue, but I also want y'all to understand that there's never been a time that Black Chicagoans have not been under pressure. There's never been a time that we've not been fighting. So what are you talking about? Y'all want us to get so emotional that we're on the front lines of something. No. You have to step back and pay attention first and foremost here. We know how to pay attention to things that's going on around us, okay? And y'all want people to get so upset that we go out into the streets and then some really happen? Black Chicagoans, people that's talking crazy on this internet, especially if they ain't from here, y'all sit the fuck down, pull back, because you have to be able to process what is going on. If
y'all see me typing, I'm literally taking out all the cuss words that said, y'all, so I apologize.
Go out there on some emotional, that's how things get twisted. That's how
exactly.
shit get up, because you're not thinking logically. I really need y'all to understand that this is not us against migrants. This is not us against anybody that they are here trying to detain. This is about us being a sanctuary city and our mayor and our governor pushing back on to stop posting about what's happening right now and not adding the fact that there was shit led up to this happening. I ain't excusing nothing that they doing, but what I'm not going to do is put my people in no burning building. We going to hear me out. Be patient. I'm not saying that we won't do anything. I'm not saying that they won't try anything. I am saying you cannot react off of emotion. There has to be patience. There has to be a process. There has to be a preparation. Stop letting these people gas y'all the fuck.
So the moral of the story, y'all, is, and how I feel about the whole thing, is that I truly feel on what she's saying about it. Honestly, you have so many individuals that are constantly, obviously, acting out on emotions, saying things, obviously to get views and, to cause, a whole bunch of distress, a whole bunch of, chaos when it comes down to a lot of people, that's watching, these influencers. I sit here and I look at, a lot that's going on in Chicago, and I sit here and I realize, and I'm like, bro, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm watching these different videos. Y'all know these videos that I put out, and I'm seeing these different videos, and it's like, you have this individual that's not from here, or not, from there, in Chicago, or, not even, Illinois. And I see these different individuals, but then I see another, different set of videos that has a lot of people that actually live there that are wanting change, that wants ICE there, that wants the National Guard there, and want better for, their communities. They want all these shootings to stop. They want that. But then you have a different set of videos that people that don't, they look like they don't even work. Now, y'all know I don't, obviously, just go off by look. People do not even look like they live there, bro. And you can tell some of the people really, truly don't. A lot of the people literally travel. And I tell y'all this all the time. A lot of these people that's protesting, that's rioting, and this, that, and other, a lot of these people ain't even from those states. They travel to those states, and get in these groups and cause chaos in these places. It all started from the get-go because there was so many shootings and crime down in Chicago. Now it's a whole shift. It's a whole shift of different groups of people that are in Chicago right now. And I'm telling y'all, needs change. Make sure y'all stay tuned for the next video. Definitely a banger. I'm not even going to lie. It's really some type of follow-up for this video a little bit, in a way, but I got a lot to say, and a lot of great news, when it comes down, in Chicago. Make sure y'all hit the like button, hit that subscribe. I definitely appreciate y'all. Much love, everybody. Catch y'all next one.